Yeah, that was a lot quicker. Typically, they do a worship song. You get some time to kind of process your testimony and like what you want to say. But yeah, to start, my name's Gabe Potyk, and I'm a senior at St. Mary's, and I'm a follower of Christ. Now, I'm sure a lot of you guys are wondering, Gabe, like, how'd you become a follower of Christ? And I guess that's really the whole point of having the mic in my hand is kind of, share my story. So before I get into it, I'm going to share 3 different stories within my testimony. And they're about some pretty tough times within my life. And it's not to glorify my sin, but it's more so to be boastful about my weaknesses. Because I want to highlight where I was kind of at, the person that I was, and how God and the Lord transformed me into the man that I am today. So I guess it starts, grew up in a non-Christian household. My dad was Jewish, my mom was Catholic, probably went to church maybe 2 times, 3? I don't even know. Didn't know anything about Jesus, actually. I had no idea. Although my mom did carry like the core values of a good Christian. She was nice, she was kind, loving, serving, just like a good, genuine person, but she didn't go to church as much as she should. She still doesn't, a little bit of a sore subject in a way. So prior to coming to college, I always kind of had this like idea of what college was, and I'm pretty sure it's pretty basic for like a lot of people, College is this like thing where it's like you come, you get drunk, you do the one-night stands, you party, you live it up. It's your opportunity to just kind of like live life to the fullest. At least that's what I thought. And that was the idea that I had in my head. And I came into college in a relationship. Now, I'd never had a relationship before, so prior to meeting this girl, I was kind of like, you know what? Never been in love? Let's test it out. Let's see what that's about. So I came into college with a girlfriend, had this whole depiction of what it means to be like in college, and I ended up meeting another girl here at St. Mary's while I was in this relationship with my girlfriend who I thought that I had loved, and it led me to do some pretty terrible things. Not gonna lie, I suck as a person. I still don't like what I did. I emotionally cheated on her. I cuddled another girl, and I just got way too close with this other person. And it was just terrible because it was like I'd like tell one thing to one girl, but then go and tell the exact opposite to this girl that I loved. After the 3rd time of emotionally cheating on her, I like cut it off with this girl, and I was done. I was like, you know what? I love my girlfriend. I'm gonna be committed to her. And I never told her about it for a month. And then I told her about it, and she broke up with me. Now, if you've ever been in a relationship, ever been in love, it actually sucks when you break up with a person because it feels like your world just comes crumbling down. That's what happened to me. I hit rock bottom. I was a loser. I was a terrible dude. And it ended up leading me to go into my first hockey team chapel. Now, if you don't know what a team chapel is at St. Mary's, Max Erickson, he's our team chaplain leader, and he meets with all the MIAC schools. He's from Minneapolis. He drives down once a week to meet with all of us. And chapels are really cool because it's a opportunity to kind of like ask your random questions about the Bible, learn more about the Lord, and it's really where like all the hockey guys kind of come together and open up. And so the story of how I got to this first chapel is really funny. Not going to share it here, but if you ever want to sidebar me, I'm happy to tell you about it. And I told Max in this moment, I told everybody, I was like, yeah, like this is what I did. And we went to Jeremiah 17, and that's where we read, the heart is the most deceitful thing in the world. And I was like, yo, that like hit me, because like I knew it was wrong to cuddle this other girl, but at the same time, like I still did it because I wanted to do it, even though I knew it was wrong. And it just kind of hit me. I ended up getting back together with my girlfriend, and then I kept going to team chapels. And chapels were sick. It's like I'm a very curious person, so obviously I'm coming in there and I'm like, hey, how were the Great Pyramid of Giza built? It was giants. That was kind of the vibe of my team chapels. Giants built the pyramids. And then fast forward probably like 6 months, again, I was going through this like, do I want to experience college, or do I want to experience like, like this whole like loving relationship? I never really gave my life to the Lord at this point, but I was just like very conflicted. And what that led to me doing is I broke up with my girlfriend who I still like loved. I don't think I loved her anymore, honestly. Like these actions that I had were terrible. But I ended up like telling her like, hey, like, I don't know if I want to be with you or if I want to be in another relationship. Terrible way to break up with somebody. It sucked. And then after 3 days, I just kind of realized that was stupid, and I tried to get back together with me. She wanted no part of me. And that led to just me, like, oh, I was down bad, just like took a bomb and just blew up my life. Everything was good, and I decided to destroy it. And then going to these chapels still, there was one day we were talking about how if you accept the Lord into your life, everything is just going to get better. You know, all your problems are going to go away. Things are going to be joyous. Like, he can come and like heal broken people. And I was like, like, I need that. I'm struggling right now. So in that day and in that moment, I gave my life to Christ. And I'm not going to lie, it was awesome. And all my problems went away like that in the blink of an eye. And it was really cool. I went and told a ton of people about it, actually. Like, I left Team Chapel. I went into the cafeteria, the pub, and was like, had the smile. People were like, why are you so happy? And it's like, I just gave my life to Christ. Oh, what does that mean? I don't even know, but like, I feel amazing. I literally did it just to like get these feelings that I had off of my chest. And so, yeah, it felt really good for 2 days, and I started to feel all of those same like problems again. And then you fast forward about like 6 or 7 months, didn't get back together with my girlfriend. I became an RA at St. Mary's. And the whole reason of being an RA is like, I play hockey and I'm just like a hockey bro, but I always like wanted to be something more than a hockey guy. You know, like you look at me and it's like, oh, like he plays hockey, but I always felt like I needed something more. So RA was the next best thing. And so coming to RA was great. You know, I was able to connect, you know, be involved on campus. It was a lot of fun. There's just one teeny tiny problem. You can't really be an RA and still smoke weed. Yeah, they don't really go hand in hand, especially when you're at a Catholic institution. It's just not a good combo. And I ended up getting fired as an RA, and that actually like sucked because I really enjoyed being an RA, but I still just had this like two faces. Again, like in my previous relationship, serious integrity problems. I was lying to 2 different girls, telling them 2 different things. And being an RA, I'm supposed to be accountable and responsible, yet and hold like the school's values at the heart, and yet I'm just smoking weed behind the dean of students' back, my hall director's backs. So I did get caught. Happy to tell you guys how I got caught in a sidebar conversation. But then this, like, after this moment, it led to like a serious look in the mirror of like, what are you doing? Like, what kind of person are you being? You know, like one question that I always kind of came to look at was like, would you follow you? And I wouldn't have followed me at that time. And so like going to these chapels, I would be looking at things like, how can you just be a better character person? You know, like, and we talk about being honest, trustworthy, accountable, being gentle, soft-hearted, be serving. And so I started to shift my ways in how I would treat people. I would try to be very much more direct, straightforward. I think if you do know me, I'm a very directive person. I say what I'm thinking. I don't lie as much anymore, but I never really fully, you know, turned to Christ. Then you fast forward another whole summer, you know, just doing these team chapels. I kind of tested out the whole drinking, partying vibe, you know, got drunk, would have one-night stands, and it really just left me like depressed and sad. Just wake up and just be like, sucks. Couldn't really find anything to like latch onto. And then it eventually led to me being at Lucky's, where I had one too many sodas. I hit the dance floor and I do the worm. As I'm coming up from my feet, I slip back, and you know when you fall back, you like try to catch yourself naturally? Well, I'm a big boy. I fall back like this, completely hyperextend my arm, snap a ligament in my forearm to my bicep, and then fracture my arm. This is 2 months before the season, and then I was out the entirety of first semester. And it is at this moment that I was like changed. I called my roommate, Soupy, and I was like, hey dude, I need to go. And he was like, why, you just got there? I was like, dude, I did the worm. I just broke my arm. And he laughs at me and we go home. And I'm just thinking like, dude, like we need to figure this out. And so luckily for me, I have a teammate, Matt Sankner. If you don't know Matt, he's one of the best guys in the world. Just like such an inspirational way of like how you should follow Jesus. And just, I admire everything about this dude. And he was leading a VG. And I remember I always wanted to go just to go support him, not even for the Lord, just to support my boy. And I ended up going, and there was like, I don't even know, 30 people at this VG? And I was just like, what on earth? Like, there's people in college that know Jesus? Like, they're with the Lord? Like, what? Like, people want to spend time with him? I didn't think that was a thing. I'd never seen it. And I was just so encouraged by it. And so I kept coming back. And then I got to just meet such amazing people kind of through going to his VG, like people that I'm still friends with to this day. And they were all like, hey, like, you should go to college night. Like, that's where this VG started. And I was like, yeah, like I should. And I did. And then they were like, hey, like, you should go to church on Sundays. And I was like, yeah. So I did that too. And then it was like, hey, like, you should go work in children's ministry. I was like, I love working with kids. Like, yeah. And so I ended up just like gripping on to Jesus's vine so quickly that I had like finally found like the blueprint to a life. You don't find it in drinking. You can't find it in a relationship. You can't find it through a job. I don't have a lot of money, so I'm gonna guess that you can't find it in there. That's what the Bible says. So I don't have a answer for like that one, but yeah, I found the blueprint for life and I gripped on. And so I'm a gym bro, and in gym kind of terminology, you know, like you talk about like when you're hitting bench press, like whenever you lift, you do repetitions because repetitions build your strength. And through all of these different things that I was doing, I was praying on my own, reading on my own. I actually put time into a relationship with Jesus that I ended up just gripping onto that vine of his, and I just started doing chin-ups and pull-ups on that thing. Like I was just addicted to being close with Jesus, and that's like kind of how I was living my life. And I honestly was just on cruise control for like a full year and a half. There was nothing that was like bothering me. I didn't really have any stress. There was no big thing that rocked my boat. I was just chilling in my relationship with Jesus, and it was cool. Still going to the chapel, still growing, and just trying to be a leader in my faith. And then very recently, I was kind of put to the test. So it being my senior year, on my senior night for hockey, it's like where the seniors get honored, I broke my hand in the middle of the game with 2 minutes left. Now, I had no idea if I was going to play another hockey game or not, and I was just petrified of that, to tell you the truth. But because of all these chin-ups that I was doing with Jesus, I kind of realized that hockey was just a worldly desire anyways, and that my identity isn't found in being a hockey player. It's found in Christ. And that was just so special for me because while it was super hard not knowing if I was going to play another hockey game or not, I still had Jesus and he was still with me through that. And honestly, my prayer each and every day after breaking my hand was, God, like, please just let me play another hockey game. Like, I will glorify you. I just want to play another game competitively. I want to help my team win. And after 4 weeks, keep in mind my hand is still broken, God was able to surround me with really good doctors. No, she was a PA and good trainers where they strapped me up some way, somehow, and I was able to play this past weekend and help our team win, and now we're making a playoff push that I'm able to be a part of, and it's through God's glory and through his grace that I was able to do that. There was nothing else. Like, yeah, I was surrounded by good people, but God's really what tied me together. And so really this recent moment was identifying that my identity is found in Christ, not in hockey, not in a relationship, not in anything else, but it's only Christ alone. And it took me a lot of different steps and turns to kind of figure that out. But man, once you figure that out, why you become a follower of Christ and why your life gets better through praying, through reading, and all these things, there's really nothing that can shake you within this world. You just build up this firm foundation, and then it becomes how can I just get more people to become a follower of Christ? And it turned out to be super simple. It's through just sharing your story, telling people why, how did Christ save you? And through the worship, I feel it's important for everybody to kind of think about what is your story? Why are you a follower of Christ? What did he do to save you? Because when it comes to shove, when people are asking you about your faith and when your faith gets put on trial, it's going to be your testimony and your story that makes the impact on them, not anything else. And also Jesus, obviously, but yeah. Thank you, everybody. That was a long one.